Howdy everyone, thank you for tuning in to this video review. This is a video review of the DealExtreme 14442 drop-in module for the Surefire 6P flashlight. And this is the module you see here. And the first thing that jumps out at you is that it's a Solar Force product. And that's not really a bad thing in my opinion, because this module sells for $15 to $20 on eBay, and DealExtreme sells it for $12 conversely. So pretty good value here for your money. It's a brass pill, aluminum reflector, orange peel type, and common stuff for any of these DealExtreme drop-in modules. So there's the Cree R2 emitter in the center, and it's a pretty generic form function for any common to any DealExtreme module. So I'm going to drop it into my Surefire 6P and screw the bezel down. Make sure it's tight and snug. There you go. No rattles. Make sure it's tight. And I'm gonna cycle you through some of the modes. So a little bit about this module here is, again, a Cree R2, but it also has last mode memory. So what that means is it will remember the last mode that you use, compared to, I think, the other DealExtreme Cree R2 module, which has next mode type of operation. So it makes it very easy to use and much more intuitive, in my opinion. So this module will work off 2 RCR 123 cells, so its voltage range extends from 3.6, I believe, to 8.4 volts, no problem. So let's cycle you through some of the modes really quick and go from there. So right away I've configured my 6P with a reverse clicky switch, also from DealExtreme, but you can also cycle through modes just as easily using the OEM twist cap from Surefire. Again, obviously the big difference being this is a forward momentary switch, so you're going to cycle through modes with a forward activation versus reverse clicky, which you have to turn on first and then tap the button to cycle through modes. So there's strobe. Let's start off there in low mode. I actually prefer low because it's I'm going to ballpark it. This flashlight is probably around 60 lumens in low, and for me it's a very perfect starting point for general tasks around the house. So from low you go 1/2 press to strobe, SOS, and once more another 1/2 press to high. From high, medium, low, SOS, strobe, and once again in high. So turning the light off for a moment will freeze that mode and remember that mode. So when you turn it back on the next time, you start off in high, or in the last mode that you finished with. So I usually like to start it off again in low mode, power it down, power back on. And it's really straightforward in that regard. Once you figure out the mode sequence and the amount of time duration needed to distinguish between powering down and cycling a mode. So there you have it. Let's finish up here and take it over to the white wall and do some quick beam shot comparisons. So here we are at the white wall, and what you're looking at on the left is the light from about a 65 lumen Rayovac Sportsman Extreme. And the light there on the right is the DealExtreme 14442 drop-in module. Right away you can see some color tint differences immediately. And let me cycle through some of the modes and let you take a look at that. Strobe, SOS, and there's high. So obviously the DealExtreme module is much brighter and high. There's medium, and once again there's low mode right there. So if I had to venture a guess, low mode is probably in the 50 lumen neighborhood as a visual estimate. Okay, so the next light in the arsenal is the shining beam RCN3Q5 that you see on the left, and again on the right is the 14442 on low. And let's cycle through the modes. Strobe, SOS, and there's high. So once again, color tint, big difference. And let's go to medium. There we go. So similar outputs, although I think the RCN3Q5 is a little bit brighter maybe. And once again, there, on low. Alrighty, let's move on to the final light comparison of this review. Okay, so here we are again, 11.836 on the left and 14.442 on low on the right. And I took some current measurements of the 14.442, and running on low, it draws 150 milliamps from a pair of RCR 123 cells fully charged. And on high it draws 640 milliamps, and on medium, there we go, on medium it draws 320 milliamps. So some of you more savvy viewers out there can do some math and figure out run times and things of that, so approximate run times depending on what type of cells you're using. Okay, so that concludes the indoor white wall beam shot section of this review, and let's take it outside and do some outdoor beam shots as well. Here again is the about 60 lumen Rayovac Sportsman Extreme, and there is low mode on the 14.442, and it's just barely bright enough for my camera to detect. That's why it's fading in and out of focus like that. Rayovac Sportsman Extreme, 14.442 on low mode. So there's the 11.836 in a Surefire 501B host. And there's 14.442 on high. $11.836, 14.442 on high. $11.836, and one last time, there's the DealExtreme 14.442 on high.